Continuing my journey through the New Teen Titans collected editions, I now come to the New Teen Titans Volume 7. I've already reviewed Volumes 1 to 6, and I'll leave a link to those in the description down below, but here we are now at Volume 7. So just to recap briefly my history with the New Teen Titans. The New Teen Titans were a comic book series which was popular in the 1980s. I discovered them in the early 1990s. So as a kid growing up in the 80s, I was interested in superhero cartoons, particularly in DC cartoons. I watched the Batman cartoon, the Super Friends cartoons, but my parents didn't let me have superhero comic books. And it wasn't until I was a teenager in the 1990s and had a little bit of money to spend on comics books myself that I was able to actually buy comics for myself. And so in the early 90s, I decided to try and get into collecting DC comics. And at my local comic book store, they had a 3 for $1 section. You could pick out any 3 comics from the bin and pay $1 for 3 of them. And this was great for somebody who was just starting out in comics. And by chance of circumstance, my local comic book store had a lot of the New Teen Titans comics, which were all selling for 3 for $1. And the selection that was in that bin started right around here. So in the previous volumes 1 through 6, those were volumes in which I had read some of the issues that were collected, but not all of them. So a lot of those comics were new to me. I think starting here and going forward for the rest of the Teen Titans run, these are going to be issues that I have mostly read, because most of these were in the 3 for $1 bin. I don't know why. I mean, we have here some of the most famous comics that were in the New Teen Titans history. So the Judas Contract, arguably the most famous line for the New Teen Titans ever. It was in the 3 for $1 bin. I don't know why, but it was. I haven't still kept it, unfortunately. I think after I left the country and went abroad, my brother inherited my comic books. They might be in my brother's house now in Colorado. I don't know. I don't know what it would be worth today. I did not have this one because this one was the first appearance of Nightwing. So I suspect that's why that one was not in the 3 for $1 bin. That one was probably selling for a little bit more. But I think I had all the rest of these at one time in my collection. So this was a reread going through these. And in fact, the very first Teen Titans book that I read was this one here, the Judas Contract finale, which is, I think, the most famous comic in the New Teen Titans history. Just coincidence, I guess, that this happened to be something I got on a whim from the comic book store. I had not heard of the New Teen Titans before then, or, like I said, I was familiar with the Batman cartoons, the Super Friends cartoons, but wasn't familiar with comics before then. So this was the one that hooked me. And looking back, or I guess reading this again now, trying to remember why this appealed to me so much. I guess partly it's the artwork, huh? I mean, these characters just look very colorful. They look interesting. They look like characters that are kind of fun to hang out with. They tied in somewhat with what I knew about comics. So I didn't know who Wonder Girl was before, but I immediately made the connection between Wonder Girl and Wonder Woman. This is one of the first appearances of Nightwing, but the characters refer to him as Robin and Dick Grayson. So this was my clue that this was where Dick Grayson, aka Robin, had ended up in DC continuity, which, when I was in elementary school in the 1980s, everyone used to talk about how Robin got killed off in the comics in, 87, 88. For people who didn't actually read comics, it wasn't widely known that this was just a Robin, not the original Robin, Dick Grayson. So for me to discover that Dick Grayson was actually still alive and had another identity, that was something that I was pleased to find out. And I just really liked these characters. Now, it's interesting to go back and look at this and realize in a lot of ways how underwhelming this Judas Contract series is. So the biggest problem with the Judas series contract, and I've talked about this before in some of the previous videos, is that the reader knew exactly what was going to happen from the moment Tara was introduced. Now, Tara was introduced a couple of volumes ago. We're at volume 7 now. I think she made her first appearance in volume 4 and then was around for volume 5 and 6. But from the moment she was introduced, the reader knew she was evil because we got to see scenes of Tara plotting. Now, the Titans didn't know Tara was evil, but for the reader, there's not really a big emotional impact when we find out that Tara had betrayed the Titans. It's not like, oh no, not Tara. I can't believe she would do a thing like this. It was like, yep, this is what we've been building to for many issues now. This was exactly what this character was set up to do. So, looking back on that, I find it a little bit... There's a disconnection between how much this series is praised or how great a place it has in the Titans mythology with how little emotional connection there is. This wasn't like a beloved Teen Titan was betraying the team. This was somebody that the readers always knew was a bad egg who was just doing what the plot dictated. So it is, of course, possible to imagine a better version of this story in which Tara is one of the new Teen Titans from the beginning. She is not portrayed as just a pure psychopathic evil character, but as a good character with maybe some conflicting loyalties that eventually lead her to betray the Titans, something that catches the reader off guard, etc. But even aside from that, aside from the fact that the reader knows that Tara is no good, the Titans themselves really should know that Tara is no good because it gets signaled a lot to the Titans. Like this, they're doing some sparring to just kind of keep in shape or keep their superhero powers in top conditioning. Tara goes nuts when the changeling eggs her on and just goes full-on psycho mode until finally the other Titans intervene, and then she tries to go into a sob story about how she's traumatized and stuff like that, which the Titans buy. And the Terminator, who is working with Tara, knows, of course, that the Titans are being foolishly naive. Yeah, so I guess, fine. The Titans are foolishly naive. I don't know why they're so foolishly naive, but let's go ahead with that. While we're here, here's maybe another point which we can make briefly on the way. The Terminator and Tara are having a sexual relationship. This is established in numerous issues. Despite the fact that it's emphasized repeatedly that Tara is just barely 16. So, I mean, okay, I know Tara and neither Tara or the Terminator are supposed to be good guys, so we're not supposed to emulate these choices, but this was a narrative choice that the writers did not have to make. They could have gone a different way with this, especially because at this point in the new Teen Titans history, most of the Titans have been aged up to the age of adult. So Wonder Girl, Dick Grayson, I believe Cyborg, they are all 18 or over at this point. I think it's only the Changeling, who's a youngling among them, who's still only 16. So given that the Teen Titans are now becoming adults, we didn't need for Tara's character to be underage, especially if she was going to have a sexual relationship with a much older man. I don't know why they did that. I don't know. What do you think? Is this something that creeps you out, or is this something that you just accept because it's soap opera fiction? I don't know. Okay, so anyways, back to the original point I was making. The Titans are foolish, naive. Fine. But then, once it's pointed out to the Titans that Tara is the one who's betraying them, where is it? Tara Markov works with the Terminator. You're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. So they have to do so much work convincing Dick Grayson, who's supposed to be one of the world's greatest detectives, that Tara has actually betrayed them. It takes, a couple issues and several pages before Dick Grayson actually believes that they're telling the truth about Tara. Whereas in actuality, he should have said, of course, it makes perfect sense. I don't know why we didn't see this before. We were being so naive. I mean, I don't know what it is about Tara that the rest of the Titans, that fooled the rest of the Titans so much. Especially since in the issues preceding this, we are not given a lot of reason. The relationship that we're shown between Tara and the Titans doesn't lead us to believe that Tara is all that great at pretending to be this good guy. Now, Raven actually knows that Tara is no good, and this was shown in a previous issue. Where was that? Tara is talking to Raven, and Raven says something about, like, I sense great evil in you. If I can't find it offhand, you'll have to take my word for it. Raven is saying, I sense great evil in you, Tara, but I'm not sure of myself, so I'm not going to reveal it to the others yet. Oh, here it is. I've always sensed a corruptness in you, a feeling of inner evil. And she says, if I was certain of my feelings, I would have informed the Titans months ago, but I will not accuse anyone when I'm not certain of anything myself. So Raven senses that Tara is pure evil. The rest of the Titans see ample evidence of how unstable she is, etc. Why are they all so shocked when it turns out she's the betrayer? So those are all the reasons that this story doesn't work. Now, here's why it's still fun to read, in spite of that. The writers do a great job of just milking the emotions of this. So they bring out Tara. She's bragging about how she betrayed them. We get the reaction shots of each of the Titans. Hera, no! You're lying, Terminator! You're lying! And again, I don't know why they have such trouble believing this, but okay. Cyborg's a little bit smarter. No! Suddenly everything's slipping into place. Now, Gar Logan has the hardest time accepting that Tara is a betrayer, because Gar is in love with Tara. Now, why Gar is in love with Tara is another thing that doesn't make any sense, given the fact that Gar appears to have plenty of other girls who are interested in him. Why did he get so hung up on Tara? But anyways, putting that aside, the emotional feeling in these scenes does come out, and I think if you can suspend your sense of disbelief about how the Titans could be so stupid, then it does largely work here. Skip these pages of backstory. So they've got all the Titans captured up here. Tara is mocking them. And then the Terminator realizes that one of them is his son. And Tara goes nuts over this. He's your kid. I'm right, ain't I? That's your kid. Man, it's too much. The Terminator's brat teamed up with the Titans. If you value your life, shut up. So now there's tension here. There's tension between Tara and the Titans. The tension is just building and building and building until release. The Titans are freed, and then that tension that's just been building suddenly explodes into action as the Titans are freed, and we get this great panel of them bursting out. And then we get the satisfying catharsis of them being able to fight off the bad guys after all this tension that was building in the previous pages. So this part of it works. And I think that's why I got hooked on this particular issue some 35 years ago now. The action here largely works. Gets a lot of excitement going here. Tara just kind of killing herself for no reason just because she can't control her rage is a little bit silly. But okay, the rest of it works quite well, I think. So, still worth a reread, I think. Then we go on to the next issue. This is bringing back the guest star, Aqualad and Aquagirl. So Aqualad has been a member of the original Teen Titans, and I've talked about him when I'm reviewing the Teen Titans Silver Age volumes. Aquagirl apparently was also in the Teen Titans, although she hasn't popped up yet in any of the Silver Age comics I've been reading, Silver Age collections I've been reading. Maybe she comes up more in the Bronze Age. But we can see here a great cover where it looks like Aquagirl is dead. She's not really dead. They save her in this issue. But this is a little bit maybe ominous foreshadowing, because this character will be dead very soon. This is August 84. Marv Wolfman is going to kill her off in a couple years in Crisis on Infinite Earths in 1986. And then Aqualad is going to be emotionally wrecked because of her death, and that's going to be trauma that he works through over several issues. So I'm not sure if they knew they were going to kill off Aquagirl when they did this issue and they were just foreshadowing that, or if this was just something unplanned. But yeah, I mean, in retrospect, you can see that, well, I don't know. In retrospect, maybe this makes it a little bit silly. They go through all this work to save Aquagirl, but then you, the reader, know, well, they're going to kill her off in just a couple of years anyways. According to the Titans Wiki, which I was looking up when I was reading, I was doing some research while I was reading these issues. This issue is the first time that Aqualad is referred to as Garth, which I never knew. I mean, I thought he had always been Garth, but I guess up until this point in comic book history, it was just called Aqualad. So yeah, Aqualad and Aquagirl come back, and we also get Wally West, the Kid Flash, who's making a guest appearance here. to complain that he was not invited to Tara's funeral. And that's just his only contribution to this issue. But he is also sick. There's a storyline with Wally West which is going to play out, I think, for the next 2 years, where Wally West's super speed is killing him for some reason. I guess because he got super speed when he was still in puberty, and as he's growing up, the super speed is having an effect on his metabolism that it doesn't have on the regular Flash's metabolism. So it's just hinted here this will pop up in later issues. And then somehow gets resolved around the time of Crisis in Infinite Earths. I'm not sure. I don't remember how they resolved that. But anyways, then they go on an attack against the Hive. Oh, I almost forgot to mention this. We also in these issues get introduced to Jericho, who is the new Teen Titan. Now that Kid Flash is out, they needed a new character to replace them. Jericho is a nice character. He's always described as... let me see if I can find some descriptions of him. For whatever reason, the creators of the new Teen Titans really fell in love with their creation when they made Jericho. So they were always talking about how he's so soft and loving and wonderful, and he's got this gentle smile and great eyes, and everyone loves him. Let me see if I can find some panels that are like that. And so in that respect, Jericho is the most boring of the Titans. All the other Titans are built in with some sort of hard edges to them. I mean, Jericho does have some angst because his father is a Terminator. Yeah, see, they always describe him with warm smile. He smiles and his smile is warm. Bathes in that caring warmth. Okay, I mean, we get it. He's just a real warm and caring guy in those dreamy eyes. And if memory serves, this portrayal of Jericho is going to go on through the rest of this run. I don't hate the character of Jericho. And in fact, somebody who... these issues were a part of my youth. I have some attachments to the character, but he is definitely the most boring of the Titans. Okay, anyway, so that's Jericho. Oh, this character got introduced here. She was actually foreshadowed briefly earlier in a previous issue in this collection. Jillian, who I looked her up again on the DC Wiki. She, I guess, is one of the Changeling's old girlfriends, all the way back from the 1960s when she appeared in the Doom Patrol. And she talks here about how her father sent her away. Yeah, you know, I loved you. Man, my father sent me to finishing school in London just to keep us apart. So I guess that's where she's been all this time. So if memory serves, she doesn't stick around too long. But she's back for a few issues here. Anyways, oh, you know what? Speaking of Garfield, Gar Logan, I almost forgot a big thing I should talk about. After Tara died, Gar Logan took it the hardest. Tried to save her, was devastated that she was dead, convinced that the Terminator had turned her evil, and just had a real hard time dealing with it. And this is angst that he's going to work through now over multiple issues, how angry he feels about Tara's betrayal and death. So he gets a little bit too aggressive in his superhero work. The cyborg has to stop him, and they have an argument, and he runs off. and then finding him is one of the subplots of the next 2 issues. Where did Gar Logan go? Yeah, they eventually do find him again. But his upset feelings over Tara's betrayal and his anger at the Terminator, that's going to continue and be a subplot for many more issues. As well as his relationship with his father, his adopted father, Steve Dayton, who is going mad. That's also going to be a subplot that continues on. So there's some panels somewhere here. Oh, by the way, quick side note here. The formatting of this this could be better. You can see the pictures right up to the edge of the page, where it even looks like it's getting cut off a bit there, and then they've got a wide margin here. So somebody should have just moved this page over here. I'm not sure if this is just only this particular volume or if it was an issue with this whole run of printing. But anyways, the last issue here is Tales of the Teen Titans versus the Recombatants. So Recombatants is a new group that was formed in Dayton Laboratories. I went to the DC Wiki expecting that these characters would pop up several times in future DC continuity, because it seems like they're introducing a new team here. But they didn't, and I guess what's going on here is instead of introducing a new team, this is some sort of homage to a group of characters that appeared in Eclipse comics, which is why they just show up for 1 issue and then disappear. Oh yeah, so here's Steve Dayton, Gar Logan's adoptive father, being really angry and being a jerk. He's going crazy because of his helmet and his powers, and that's going to play out over several issues. Oh, and Terry Long and Donna are getting married. So this is a subplot that's going on in these issues. The bachelor party, getting ready for the marriage, etc. All of that's happening. So, yeah, a lot of change going on in these issues. And going forward, these are going to be the Teen Titans that I'm mostly familiar with from my youth. So I'm going to try and get volume 8 from my library next, and then try and follow this series as far as it goes. This line of reprints, I'm not sure they go all the way to the end of this version of the New Titans, but, well, we'll see how far they go. So I will see you next time, BookTube. Thank you very much.